I'd like to talk about my autism diagnosis and some revelations I've had since getting diagnosed. One thing that I've learned is that I always knew this, but now I understand it more deeply, is that I have a different framework from somebody who is non autistic or somebody who is neurotypical. My mind literally sees the world differently. I experience myself and the world differently than a neurotypical person. This can lead to misunderstandings because, based on how I view myself and the world, I conduct myself in that way. And if it's unfamiliar to somebody else, they're going to have to draw from what they know. And they may not know my perspective, my unique experience of reality. So they must draw from their own unique experiences instead. They also will be drawing from common assumptions and pattern recognition that neurotypical minds tend to have socially, but not necessarily considering other alternatives, other ways that something being expressed could be interpreted, other reasons behind why somebody might be expressing themselves the way that they are. I'm not saying neurotypical or non autistic people aren't open minded. What I'm saying is sometimes we can get trapped in expectation, and then there's no room for the reality of deviation from the norm. For me specifically, as an autistic person, and this is not to speak for all autistic people, but my experience with how I enter into social situations is each one is basically brand new. There's some information from previous interactions I've had that come in, but typically when I am getting to know a person, it is a whole new experience. I don't come in with assumptions. I don't come in with pre-assigning narratives. If I learn something about someone, the thought might come into my head that there is a bias I have, but I tend to just set that to the side to learn more about that person, to because I know that there's other possibilities. The reason that they might identify a certain way, or the reason they might speak or act a certain way, or live their life a certain way could be anything. There are many, many roads that lead to the same destination, so it's never a good idea to just make a blanket assumption. A neurotypical person tends to be more inclined towards recognizing patterns in behavior and then taking the most common one and kind of sticking to that one because it makes a lot of sense mathematically. More than likely, it's going to be this way rather than that way. And sometimes that can blind them to the other ways that it could be. And they have a hard time adjusting their framework to make room for deviation.